Okay, so namaste everyone. We'll start our today's class. So let's do the Mangalam first. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Me Sada. So today most of the grammar part we are done. Some are remaining, so that also will be done in next 3 classes. In total 5 classes we will be done with our grammar part. And don't get like tensed, yeah, that you are done all grammar in 5 class only, because this same grammar, once we will practice, then we will understand it further. We will understand it more. So as of now, just try to do exercises, because I can see only our Srividya Bhagini is doing and sharing. Others might not be getting time. So at least if not all, then do at least some 10-20 questions, so that whatever we discuss, that is refreshed in your mind there also. So today we'll see the last prayoga. So you can see prayoga means voices. It is all, everything is not means, it is like what we say in English. So there are 3 kind of sentences in Sanskritam, so that we already know, and this we read in Pravesha also. First one is called as Kartari. So Kartari means where the Karta, the agent is Pradhana, he is the main thing. Main means he will drive the verb. Verb will change as per karta's change. Second prayoga we recently saw, that is called as karmani. So karmani is where the karma is in driving seat. Karma is deciding the verb, or keeping the verb in tune with himself or herself, whatever you see the gender of karma. And then there is a third kind of prayoga, that is called as bhave prayoga. So as we all know, there are only 2 voices in most of the modern languages, even Indian and English. So impersonal, this bhave is called as impersonal. So this is quite rare in other languages. So today we will see this, how sentences are made in this kind of construct. So before that, let's remind something. So you know this dhatavah. So plural of dhatu is dhatavah. There are 2 kind of dhatus from this particular classification way. One is called as sakarmaka. This name itself is self-explanatory. You can say sa means with, karma means object. So dhatus which accept objects or which have objects. So they are called as sakarmaka, and akarmaka are one which doesn't have objects. So this we had practiced in Pravesha. So when you are dealing with a sakarmaka dhatu, then you can form a sentence either in kartari or in karmani. So which we have formed also. But when you are dealing with akarmaka dhatu, then the kartari still you can form, but whatever that karmani sentence you was here, that is now called as bhave. So if you see, bhave prayoga is no different than karmani. Only difference is that there is no karma involved. Even though it is karmani prayoga, but there is no karma. So instead of saying karmani without karma, there is a different name called as bhave. That why it is called is a different. So just so that is this. So now you can see that if you are using a akarmaka verb and you are not in kartari prayoga, then the whatever prayoga you are, whatever voice, whatever sentence you are making, that sentence is called as bhave prayoga. So we'll see the examples also going forward, just to tell like it is not something very very different than what you learned in Karmani. So it is quite specific to Sanskrit. Already I told you. So one second. Okay. It is not in other languages. So because it is not in other languages, the way sentence is made in this prayoga, you cannot translate in same manner in any other language. So most of the Bhave Prayoga Sanskrit sentences are first converted into Kartari Prayoga or active voice, then they are translated into English. Because otherwise you will not get the feeling or the meaning of the sentence if you try to convert it in the same voice. Like in in Karmani, we you have seen we tried to convert it in same way, means passive of Sanskritam, that is Karmani, we convert it into passive of English, but here it is not possible. So literally it is Karmani Prayoga on Akarmaka Dhatavah or Karmani Prayoga without karma. So now you see here Karmani Prayoga means verb is driven by karma, and you are telling without karma, there is no karma. Then what happens? Then because of this, these sentences become very easy, because there is nothing, there is no karma, so nobody is there to drive the verb. So since nobody is there to drive the verb always stays in Prathama Purusha Ekvachan only. So there is no, it doesn't change the Purusha, it doesn't change the Vachana also. So every time for all kind of uses, it will be only Pratham Purusha Ekavachana. So you need to know only one form of the word. From all 9 forms, only one form for each tense you need to know. That's it. In this prayoga, that is done. So again, this is since the construct is very kind of delightful or alankarika, so many poets and all they use it. So above all is true for all lakaras, means it will be in present tense also, past tense also, same way. So till now what we saw, Karmani Prayoga, we already know, we practiced many lakaras there. Same Karmani Prayoga is called Bhave Prayoga when there is no karma, when a verb is used which doesn't have any karma. Since there is no karma, so verb cannot change now, because in Karmani verb has to be in sync with karma, and there is no karma, so it will not change. So let's see how I tried to capture everything in this table. Let's see. So Kartari Kriya. So Kriya used in Kartari is Patati. So if you have to convert it for Karmani or Bhave, you will make it, you will add Ya and Te. So it will become Patyate. Kartari Vakyam, how it will be? Parnam Patati. And in Bhave, it will become Parnen Patyate. So there is no karma. So karma is not there. Karta is in Tritiya, and the Karmani verb is there. This is in Pratham Purusha Ekvachana only. So if you try to translate this in English, how it will be if you try. See, Patyate means is, falling is, means falling is. Parnain means by leaf. So falling is done by leaf, like that it will come, which will not give the feeling or bhava of the sentence. So that is why it is converted into active voice, Kartari Prayoga, and then translated in English whenever it is done. So you will convert it Parnam Patyati, and then you will say leaf is falling. So now this is it. There is nothing else in this. So if you see, all are like that. Some 3-4 other examples are there. Let's go through them. So kampate, which is for shaking. So it becomes kampyate. And if you say Sita kampate in Kartari, because this is Atmanepadi verb, it already has te. So now here you will come and Sita will go in Tritiya, as because of Karmani formation. Karma is not there. So this fellow will remain in Pratham Purusha Ekvachana. Sitaya kampyate. Then Spurati, Spuryate, Spuryate, Vichara, Spurati in Kartari, Vicharena, Spuryate in Karmani. Then Yatate will become Yatyate, and Kartari sentence will be Bala Yatate. girl is trying. Balaya yatyate. Trying is done by a girl, like that. So similarly, if you see, now we are taking here plural verb garjanti. So when it will go in karmani, it will become garjante. So simhaha garjanti. Now it is kartari prayoga. This fellow is the agent. So you can have the plural verb because the doer also is plural. But once you will go in karmani and bhave, garjati is a karmak kriya. So it will become simhaihi, plural simha, garjate. It will become singular. From here plural, it will become singular because in bhave prayoga, everything, all the verb will remain in pratham purusha, ekvachana only. Then nashyati becomes nashyate, phalam nashyati, phalena nashyate. So this is this simple. So there is nothing else in this. And if you do see the exercises, they all also mean some this and that, convert in English and write, fill the blank, like that only. Main thing is you have to use your technique to figure out that verb is akarmaka or not. Once you know the verb is akarmaka and you have to write in karmani, then that same prayoga will become bhave. So now we'll see. So this bhave prayoga in your book, it is in chapter 10. Yes, chapter 10, and you can see there last chapter, bhasha abhyasa. So now we are coming to some Vyakaranamsha, which is in chapter 1 and 2. So why I am doing in this order, you will understand it now. And when we'll start that from chapter 1 again, covering everything, then you will, I think you will appreciate, because this will make things very clear. So let's see what these adjectives are. Visheshana. Visheshana means adjective here. So Vishesha means something special. You can see from the word meaning. Again, we know from our Pravesha class that in Samskrita there are only two kind of padam. Two kind of valid words are there in any sentence. One is called as noun, other is called as verb. So the formula we had listened there was sup tingantam padam. So one is called as sup, one type of pada. Ting is another type of pada. Ting is a grammatical name of verb. Sup is grammatical name of noun. So only two kind of padas are there, noun and verb. So if there are only two kind of padas, then where is the adjective comes? So adjective is actually a noun, but it is going to tell some speciality or decorate some existing noun. So that is why to match with others, you will say it's an adjective, visheshana, but actually it's a noun. What do you mean when one says it's a noun? So in Sanskrit, we mean this. When somebody says noun, then we understand that it will have gender. It will have numbers, ekavachanam, dvivachanam, bahuvachanam. It will have gender. That is the meaning of noun. It will follow the vibhaktis. So this we should understand with this thing like adjectives or words which used to tell speciality of noun. So whose specialities are highlighted is called as Visheshya. And which word tells the speciality of noun is called as Visheshana. Relation of these two is called as Visheshana, Visheshya, Bhavaha, or you can say other way, Visheshya, Visheshana, Bhava. So something is there which is getting highlighted by some other word. So the word highlighting the quality of existing word is Visheshana, and whose quality is highlighted is called as Visheshya. And the relation between them is the Visheshana Visheshya Bhava. So this is what you have to study here. Again, we know like in Sanskrita, word order is not fixed. So your word can go anywhere in the sentence. So consider a shloka. If you take a shloka, your Visheshana can be at the very beginning of shloka and your Visheshya can be at the very end of the shloka. So there should be some way to figure out which Visheshana relates to which Visheshya, right? So because of this free word order, you need a way to figure out which all are in pairs. Doing that thing is called as means if you do that thing, you put everything related at one place, then it is called as you converted a poem into prose. So converting a poem or shloka into prose is called as Anvaya. So that you will read for Sankshep Ramayana. That we will start from, I think, after 2 classes from this class. So there we will do all this converting shlokas into prose or in the normal sentence, so that we can read and understand. So this also we need to keep in mind when we are studying the Visheshana. So there is a formula. This Karika is this itself, if you can understand this, all the Visheshana, Visheshya, all 2 chapter is done. And I am trying to explain everything around this Karika itself, around this shloka itself, so that you can relate it today and tomorrow also. So this shloka is there in your book, but I have splitted it and I haven't followed all the rules like Anuswara rules and all, just to keep it clear, like so that you can understand. So like Yat Lingam, Yat Vachanam, Ya cha vibhakti visheshyasya. So you can see lingam is napumsak linga. So that is why we are having yat. So it is matching with this. Which linga? It is for which. Then vachanam also is napumsak linga. So again for which we are having napumsak linga here. Yat vachanam. Then vibhakti. Vibhakti is ikaranta strilinga. So for that we are using ya. That is the same word, same meaning, but it is matching with vibhakti. So it is ya. So it is telling whatever linga, whatever gender, whatever number, and whatever vibhakti is of visheshya. So the word you want to qualify, whatever vibhakti, whatever vachana, and whatever linga it is in, tat lingam, same linga, tat vachanam, same number, sa cha vibhakti, same vibhakti visheshanasya api. Your adjective also will take same vibhakti, same vachana, and same linga. So now you can understand how this will get clear in further slides. But as of now, you can just understand from this that there are 3 parameters which need to match when you are qualifying something using Visheshana. So what are these 3 parameters? First is the linga should match, then number should match, and third is vibhakti should match. So if you can understand these 3 things, then this is it. There is nothing else in Visheshana. Even at higher level also, only some philosophical things might come, but technically there will be nothing left. You will be able to write and you will be able to understand the Visheshana. So let's see one by one. So that one by one examples we will see, so that you are very clear, and all 2 chapters you can read in this 5-6 slides itself. And rest is exercise. I hope if I am able to make it clear and you are able to understand, nothing else you need to read even in book. You can immediately go and do exercise. So we'll take the first thing. Visheshyasya yat lingam tat lingam visheshanasya api. Whatever is the gender of Visheshya, one who is getting qualified, same gender will be followed by the word which is qualifying that particular word. Let's see. So gender is there. So all 3 genders are allowed in Samskrita. We have written here Pumlinge. You can see this is for Saptami in Pumlinga, Strilinge in Strilinga, Napumsaklinge in Napumsaklinga. So let's see. So this is one noun root. So first thing, again I am repeating, Visheshana are not a different category. They are noun only. If they are noun, they will have noun root. Noun root is called as Pratipadikam, that you already know. So Visheshana is Uttama. Uttama is the Pratipadika. Now when this Uttama you will use in Pumlinga Ekavachana. So as of now Vachana you leave, only see the gender. So gender is Pumlinga, Balaka is Pumlinga. So you will use Uttama also as Pumlinga. You will say Uttamaha Balakaha. Now you see, balaka is the thing whose quality this next word is telling, uttama. So good boy. So boy is the verb, which is the vishesh, not verb, is the noun. He is the visheshya, and uttama is the visheshana, who is telling the good qualities of this noun. So we conclude like same, they are following the same linga. Yat lingam, tat lingam. Next you see same uttama for case of balika or strilinga, it will become uttama. You will say uttama balika. You will not say uttamah balika, right? Because you will match the gender. Same thing is here. Visheshana and visheshya, both gender should be matched. For neuter, same rule applies. Uttamam pustakam. So this way, if I keep Uttamam in the beginning of Shloka and Pustakam at the end of Shloka, then you will figure out this Uttamam will go with Pustakam only, because they are matching in gender. Now we'll see, once we will complete all three parameters, then you will see like how beautifully they all being split also, they are together. So let's see one other example. Chatura. Chatura is for clever. This is the root. So now Chaturah Balakaha, for boy, for masculine, for Pumlinga, it becomes Pumlinga. Chaturah Balakaha. Chatura Balika. Here it is matching with Balika. Then Chaturam Sanganakam. Sanganakam is your computer. So here it is matching with Sanganakam Napumsaklingi. Similarly, Sundara. So Sundara will become Sundarah Balakaha. So not everyone will have akarant, because that how the striling shabdas are made, that is from there. As of now, you take it as it is written. So Sundari Balika. You will never say Sundarah Balika or Sundari Balaka, because then it will not correct. Sundaram Nagaram. So I think these three examples might have made it clear, and you understood like for both Visheshan and Visheshya, Linga should match. We'll go to next one. Next one says Visheshasya Yat Vachanam Tat Vachanam Visheshanasya Api. So whatever number of people are there in Visheshana, same number of people, it should match to the number of people of Visheshya. So let's see again. So Balakau is the Visheshya. They are the thing which need to be decorated. So they are two. Balakau is two. So they are decorated. Their adjective also will be Dvivachana, dual. So Balakau, it will not be Uttamah Balakau. It will become Uttamau Balakau. So two good boys. Similarly, for Balike, Uttame Balike. For Pustakani, it will be Uttamani Pustakani. Even though this is same. So as of now, last time we saw that gender should match. Now we are telling the number also should match. So it is matching. Similarly, Chaturau Balakau, Chature Balike, and Chature Sanganake. Sundarah Balakah for plural. Sundaryah Balikah, Sundarani Nagarani. Now the last thing. Now it is telling Visheshyasya Ya Vibhaktihi Sa Vibhaktihi Visheshanasya. So as of now, two things are matched. Let's see the third thing. So suppose you have to say this book or this wall writing is done by good boy, one good boy. So here you will say Balakain. Balakain. So whatever is done by Balakain. Now what type of Balakain you want to decorate that fellow? So you will say Uttamain Balakain. So first you will use Uttama in Pumlinga, then you will use Uttama in Ekvachana, then you will use Uttama in Tritiya, because your rule says Ya Vibhakti Visheshyasya Sa Vibhakti Visheshanasya. So you are matching the Vibhakti also. Uttamaya Balikaya, Uttamen Pustaken, Chaturam Balakam, Chaturam Balikam, Chature Sanganake, Sundarat Balakat, from good looking boy. Sundaryah Balikah, Sundarani Nagarani. So if these three things you know, that is it in Visheshana Vishesha, nothing else. So you take like, I take say Ghataha, like the first word in your book. Ghataha is a pot. So if I have to, now Ghata means you got the picture. Now you want to tell something, some other quality of this particular Ghata. With that quality, he will become different than other Ghata or other parts. So you will tell some adjective for this. Like you say Neelaha Ghataha. So it's a blue. Actually, Neela in Sanskrit means black, but nowadays everybody uses for blue. So we'll use for blue. So Neelaha Ghataha means this particular pot is different than other pots. They are not blue. This fellow is blue. So this is called as adjective because you are making it different. So now if you say this water is bought by Ghata, so Ghaten Jalam Anayami or Agata, whatever you say. If you have to use Visheshana there also, then you will say Nilen Ghaten. So same vibhakti you have to apply. With these three things, there is nothing else in Visheshana Vishesha, this thing. We'll see what else is called as Visheshana. So now Sankhya. Sankhya is numbers. Numbers also in Sanskrit are Visheshana only. As of now, we know numbers as nouns, but they also are Visheshana to something. We'll see. So if Sankhya is Eka, so it is in all three lingas. So Ekaha, Eka, Ekam. So like that it becomes. So you can see here Ekena Banena Maritwan. Killed, he killed by only one arrow, or only Eken by one arrow. Not only is not. So you can see here Ekena, it is again in whatever vibhakti, same vibhakti is there and it is matching. And you can also see from meaning like Ekena, one is actually decorating or making this bana separate from, it is not multiple banas or arrows he used, it was one only. So numbers also in Sanskrit are Visheshana. Again, the same rule they will follow. They will use the same vachana, they will use the same gender, and they will use the same vibhakti. Ekaya balikaya giyate is sung by one girl. Ekasmin grihe, in one house. So these both are in Saptami. Ekasmin grihe. Trishu sthaleshu. Again, Saptami. It is telling in all three places. In three places. Trishu sthaleshu. Sundaryah balikaha. Here there is Eka. Actually, it is number is not there. So you can take it as normal example. Chatasraha bhaginyaha. So you can see Chatasraha. This is Strilinga. Bhaginyaha is plural for Bhagini. 4 sisters. So this I think you already know, but I am repeating because this was in I think in Pravesha, that only first 4 numbers have gender. 5 onwards they all are of same gender. So first you like this Ekaha, Eka, Ekam. For 2 you have Dvau, Dve, Dve. For 3 you have Trayaha, Tisraha, Trini. For 4 you have Chatvaraha, Chatasraha, Chatvari, like that. Then from Pancha, Pancha is same for all linga. Pancha, Shat, they all same for same linga. And this also I think you might be knowing that numbers are not available in all vachana. So suppose Eka is there. So suppose this Pratipadika is there, Eka. So you cannot have Dvivachana of Eka because Eka is single. So it cannot have Dvivachana, it cannot have Bahuvachana. So it will have only one, Eka, Ekam, Eken, like that. That other 2 tables for dual and plural will be empty. Similarly, for dual, the singular and plural will not be there. Only dual form will be there. And for pancha onwards or 3 onwards, every number will have only bahuvachana. They will not have ekvachana and dvivachana. So this is what I was trying to say with this. Numbers will not have form in all vachanam. So yeah, it is very obvious also. So with this, we'll move to Sandhi, Sandhaya. Last time you have seen Sandhis are what you are told here is a very simple way, no exception, just simple one rule and Sandhi is done. So I think at this level that is a good thing to do also. So initially you should get aware of what sandhis are. Then later when you are using more and you see exceptions and all, then you can follow some further subtle rules to figure out why it is happening this way. So today also we will study two sandhis because they are just you might read your own, but they are very simple. So I will tell. So one sandhi, this is in chapter 3, I think, that is called as Guna Sandhi. So again, just to remind, we are only reading in this course all the Swara Sandhis or Ach Sandhis only, not any Vyanjana Sandhi or Visarga Sandhi. So this also is a Swara Sandhi. Swara Sandhi means the end, there should be two words which are coming close, they are pronounced close. So the end word of first end letter of first word and first letter of the second word, they both are swaras. Then only the sandhi is called as swara sandhi. So there should be a situation like this. So guna is in normal. If you see in our loka or the worldly uses, guna means quality. So this guna doesn't mean quality. Guna is a reserved name in grammar, Paninian grammar, and Guna means three letters. So for these three letters, collectively a name is given which is called as Guna. You can consider simply like some letters are called as Raswa. Collective letters are called as Raswa. So here collective letters are called as Guna. So if you have to, otherwise if you are not using this name, you have to say all the time A, A, O. So otherwise this Sandhi will be named as A, A, O Sandhi. So instead of saying A, A, O Sandhi, they said okay, A, A, O together we will call it as Guna. So Sandhi will be named as Guna Sandhi. Again, we need to know that what will be the type of sandhi. It will be an adesha. Adesha means replacement will happen. It will be an agama or substitution will happen. Somebody will come and sit. We know that this is a adesha sandhi. This is a adesha sandhi. Then question will come, both the letters will be replaced by a single letter or any one letter will get replaced by some letter. So here it is eka adesha. Both the letters will be replaced by single letter. So if you remember understood this one, then further is very easy. Now comes the rule or the condition. So when a vowel a or a are followed by e, u, r. So a plus e you can say. So in this in the place of these two vowels respectively, what will happen? A plus e will become a. If a plus u is there, that will become o. And u or u also, both e or e also, like here a and a is there, and then a plus r will become r, and a plus r will become al. So this is the change. So at the place of both a and this, any one of this, these letter will come ekadesha. So if in a table you see, so Purvarna means the last letter of the first word. Parvarna means first letter of the last word. So if the last letter is A or A and first letter is E or E, then it will become A. U or U, then it will become O. R or R, it will become R. L, it will become Al. So this is the simple rule. So if we apply this rule in this our table, what will happen? So there is a color coding. You can see this green ones are Guna Sandhi and this Cyan, actually it is a Cyan, I think. Cyan one is the Savarna Dirgha Sandhi. This you know from the last class. So now you see after a, if e comes, e or e comes, it will get converted to a. After a or a, if u or u comes, they will both get converted to o. After a, if r or r comes, it will get converted to ar. If after this l comes, then it will get converted to al. So these three conversions are called as guna sandhi. So for example, if you see there are many maha, ishaha. So maha last thing is a. Ishaha first thing is e. So what it happened? Maheshaha. So instead of maha and e, it will become a. So maheshaha. We'll see one example. So this thing is called as guna sandhi. If you remember, like a, small a, raswa a, and o are called as guna. So actually, if you go in sutra way, then it is very easy. But to tell you sutra, I need to take too much deviation, and as of now, that is not required in this class, or not. We should not do that way. But just for curiosity, I can tell the sutra for guna, which defines, it says ad guna. So ad means it defines that a, o. These things are called as means they are guna. So actually, ad guna is the sandhi rule, then adeng guna is the guna. What is the guna definition of that rule? So you don't try to understand, just see how small these words are, and they define. If you understand them, they define everything. So as of now, you have to understand guna means a, o, and what will where this these are the replacement. They replace if after a, e comes, or u comes, or r comes. So with this, we'll come to another sandhi. So this also is very simple and very on same pattern as other sandhi was there. This is called as vriddhi. So again, vriddhi in loka or in the world meaning, it is the growth. If you say vriddhi in normal conversation, it will mean growth. But again, this vriddhi is the grammatical name. So this name is for a, ao. The remaining three letters, whatever. In other one, these smalls were there, a, o. Here bigs are there. So vriddhi, a, o. These three letters together are called as vriddhi. So this sandhi is also adesha sandhi, and adesha is ekadesha, and which means that at the place of both letter, a single replacement will come. So let's see what is the condition. So if after a or a, if these comes, a, o comes, then at the place of the two vowel, I and o will be replaced. So see in table a or a, if after this comes a or I, then it will become I. If after this o or ao comes, it will become ao. So there are only two conditions. Earlier we had three conditions, and the replacement is same. So in table, if we come and fill it again, so first condition is the first word should end in either a or a. So only this line will be used. So after a or a, if a is there, then it will become I. If it is already I, then it will remain I. Remain means in the place of both a and I, it will become a single I. And same like o. O also will become O, and O also will become O. Now these red things, you can see here the code, it is saying it's a vriddhi sandhi. So now you know three sandhis, one line is complete, half diagonal is complete. We'll see some small examples. I am using only two examples each for these two type of sandhis, because they are very easy. They are just like adding 1 plus 1. And anyway, I expect you to do exercise, and anyway we will do all this applied thing once we will start shloka, subhashita and all. So somebody is not able to join. There is no request. So that is why I am giving one example only. And again, I am again reiterating, like if any time you feel you have any doubt, you write to group, you write to me, we will try to solve that. I am trying to do it in some different way. It doesn't mean it is done forever. And now I will not answer it, or I will not discuss it further. So if there are two words, Maha plus Ishvaraha, so let's split to see what is the ending or beginning of this. So after splitting, you can see Ma, A, Ha, A plus E and then Sha. Okay. So this is the previous slide. So let me explain it also along with showing. So this side, this particular column is for Purva Varna. So whatever is the earlier first letter. This row is for Paravarna, whatever is the last or the second letter. So if first word is ending with A or A and second word is starting with A or A, then the Savarna Dirgha Sandhi happens because they both are Savarna, same Varna, same type of letter are they. So then what happens? Savarna Dirgha Sandhi happens. But if the first word ending in A or A, but the second word is starting in E or E, then different sandhi happens. That sandhi is called as guna sandhi. Why guna? Because these letters are called as guna letters. So replacement is coming in guna letters. So that is why it is called as guna sandhi. So what is the benefit of using guna letter? He can say, Panini or whoever has written Vyakarana can say at the place of these two guna will happen. So one word using saying guna he told like A, O or something A will happen. Now you figure out whatever is matching that will happen. That all is grammatical rules. They are very clear defined. Once you finish this course and then if you want to study further, you will love them. But as of now, if you go there, then you will get confused. So these three are called as guna sandhi. Again, if first word is ending in A or A and the next word is starting with A or I, O or O, then whatever sandhi happens, that is called as vriddhi sandhi. Vriddhi sandhi also is different meaning than what is in the world. Vriddhi sandhi means A, I, O, whatever the remaining three words. Here you can just to remember and to have analogy, you can say it grows. If you want to see analogy from the world meaning. So A, if A is there, it will grow to I. It will go to next level. If I is there, it is already grown. No growth further. Similarly for O and O. Hope now it is clear. So now I am giving examples here. So Maha plus Ishvaraha. So let's see like what sandhi will happen. So you know like sandhi doesn't happen between words. It happen between letters. So first you need to figure out what letters are at the end and the beginning. So for that you need to either pronounce it properly or split it. So this I did from Sakalyam tool to split. If you split, it will look like this. So it is ending in A and starting second word starting in E. So in our table, we know if something is ending in A and starting in E, then Guna Sandhi will happen. What Guna Sandhi will do? At the place of these two, it will replace with A. So let's see if it is doing. So after Sandhi, Maha Ishvara becomes Maheshwaraha. So if you split Maheshwaraha again, you will see Ma-a-ha, Ma-a-ha and A came here and Sha. Then Sha and further it continues. So you can see at the place of A and E, this A came. So it means it's a Guna letter. So Sandhi happen is Guna Sandhi. For other one, if you see Tatra Eva. So let's see what the ending word of the ending letter of this and starting letter of this. So once you will split, you will get that it is ending in A and next one is starting in A. So if you see here ending in A, next one is starting with A. So in the place of these two, Vriddhi should happen. Vriddhi Sandhi should happen and it should become I. So you see here, once you will add, it will become Tatraiva. Like that, Atraiva, Kutraiva, so many words are there. So now if Tatraiva, if you split, you will find like there is one I. It is A plus A in the both of the places ekadesha. So at the places of these two, replacement adesha is like how adesha is like shatru. So shatru will come, kill these two things and sit himself. So that is a. So ekadesha. So these are the two sandhis. They also are this simple only, and you don't have any further complexity or exception in your course. So with this explanation, it is more than enough for you to do the exercises. So we'll see the last thing, and then we'll discuss if whatever doubts you have or something if you want to repeat. So in Anuvada Paddhati of chapter 2, so what they are handling here, had come, has come, might have come. So how you translate this? So had has a this is the past. Had come. So you say agatwan asit. So the translation for this is recommended to say like agatwan asit for masculine, because this thing tavatu pratyaya is there, and this makes the dhatu in noun, and being noun it has to have gender. So had come, if it is for female, then you can say agatvati asit. Now you can make many sentences from this. Had she come, sa agatvati asit. Had he come or came. So I think came it should be, not come, because both are past. Then if you convert this had to has, then you are not in past. So instead of asit, you will have now asti. For male, it will be agatwan. For female, it will be agatvati. And you already saw like ling lakara is used for sambhavana also. So sambhavanarthe ling also, vidyarthe also, sambhavanarthe also. So here the English sentences like might have come will have the verb which is the from ling lakara. So like syat. So agatwan syat, might have come. So this is just 3-4 things in this chapters, this part. Now I think whatever was there I explained. You can do the translations with this much understanding. And if anything is there, anyway, we will discuss. So with this explanation, what exercises you can do is the chapter 3rd and 4th sandhi part you can do, because we covered 2 sandhis. So again, I'm assuming you already did the second chapter's sandhi part, that was the Savarna Dirgha Sandhi. So now we have completed 3 sandhis. We have total 6, and rest other 3 are also simple only. So then in chapter 2, that Anuvada part I already told now, just now. So that also you can, now there are some 5-6 sentences which you can translate to and from English to Sanskrit. And then chapter 1st and 2nd are the Visheshana Vishesha chapter. So there all exercises you can do. And chapter 10th grammar part is the Bhave Prayoga. That exercise you can do. For this chapter 1 and 2, Visheshana Vishesha Bhava, now you can do the exercise on Sakalyam quiz also, because chapter 1 quiz I had already uploaded. So you can go and do the chapter 1 quiz also. So this is the homework for a week. And next class again we will have on next Monday. And I think by next class we will be in good shape. So after that we'll have a class twice a week for covering all the lengthy parts. So with this I am done, and we have 10 minutes which we can use for discussion.